we can't expect to concede goals like that and win games.
Robin, I get, as you mentioned, 7 goals in the last 2 games after such a strong start to the season defensively. I guess the last 2 games, how frustrating is it, and how much of an effort is the team really want to get back, to the that strong form they were in?
Did you just ask how badly do they want to get back to that form?
Yeah. Sorry. Wrong day.
Yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating to give up the goals that we have recently. Really what we did throughout this stretch, I think I said this in the last press conference 3 days ago, is that we kept ourselves in games by being solid defensively. Even in games we didn't play particularly well, we were very solid defensively, and we kept ourselves in games, got draws, and got wins late. Even last game, after conceding the early goal for most of the second half, we were quite good. And I actually thought we were going to get a goal, and that one would have potentially ended in a draw. But as I talked about last time, 1 goal can't turn into 4. Tonight, 1 goal turned into 3, and for me, it was just defensive frailty. Like, we just need to be better. We have to absolutely need to be better. All 3 goals I thought were soft. And we can talk about the second half, which was really positive. Guys were on the front foot. They were dangerous. We pushed and pushed and pushed. Obviously scored to make it close. But none of that matters if you've already dug yourself a 3-goal hole. So we need to be I don't even know how to address the question, do they want to get back to that, or how badly do they want to get back to that? I can tell you we badly want to win games, and to do so we need to be solid defensively and play with the urgency that we saw in the second half today.
The team looked like a different team in the second half, more dangerous. Just want to know, what was the message at halftime to get you guys motivated?
The message was, well, we just talked about how to fix a few things defensively, and we talked about how to get some more pressure higher up the field, which would cause some more turnovers, which it did. And the urgency, I think, comes from being down. I don't know if it was so much a message. It was just talking about things that we needed to do better. And in the second half, I thought we were much more proactive all over the field, which, as I said, led to more turnovers. And then we saw real urgency in the attack. And so the message to the team is that 0-0, it needs to be that sort of urgency.
We've seen a couple goals recently of layoffs. We've seen some deflections, just kind of second ball in the box. Is that you guys just getting caught in position? Is it not desire to win those one-on-one battles? What do you think is leading to some of those shots going in that weren't in the air? Or is it just the other team hitting better shots?
Did you say not desire to win these one-on-one battles?
I mean, do you think your team is going in hard enough to block shots? Do you think they're trying to put their bodies on the line? I mean, I don't know how else to phrase it.
Oh, boy. We have given up goals, or we gave up goals tonight by not being in the right positions, by making mistakes with the ball. The turnovers have been our undoing quite often this year, and tonight, certainly the last one was that. There's so much more to it than the nitpicking of our guys closing quickly enough, or do they want to win their one-on-one battles. There's so much more to it than that. It's a team. And if the team doesn't function and move as a team, then people get isolated. And at this level, if people are isolated, then bad things happen. So the team needs to function as a team and move as a team and collectively be able to slow things down. The reason the goals were scored tonight is because they were able to get behind us. And so the question is, what are we doing in the box, that is part of it. But if we defend properly, they never get behind us and they don't get those opportunities.
Yeah, Coach, just what did you think of Danny Wilson's performance tonight as a bright spot with the goal in the system?
Yeah, Danny certainly in those moments were exceptional. He was a great header, and the effort to stick with it and get the ball back in, and a fantastic finish by Lawless. Danny is one of the more proficient defenders in the league with the ball, and certainly one of his strengths for us is helping start attacks and that sort of thing. Another strength of his is his ability to head and set pieces and his size and all that. I thought that certainly those showed up in those moments, and which was excellent. We needed it, and again, the urgency of the moment was upon us. And in these urgent moments, people need to stand up, and Danny did well on both goals, obviously, and obviously Lawless did really well on the second goal. And the attacking crew in the second half, I thought, was obviously promising, exciting, dangerous, but in the end, not quite enough.
After tonight's result, how much more important is Wednesday's Open Cup match?
I think after every loss, the next game and the next game and the next game become more and more important. And while it's in a different competition, for our mental well-being, it's very important. I think it's a really, really important game. When we look at the game tonight, they approached it in a somewhat cautious manner, which invites us to have more of the ball. And if we don't do well with the ball and don't do well in transition, then we end up where we did. And the reason I reference that is because Wednesday night, I don't know what their approach will be, but we need to be better, and we need to be better with the ball, and we need to show urgency from the beginning.
Robin, Lawless with 3 goals in the last 3 Rocky Mountain Cup matches. How important is he just in kind of that final push for the attack, whether it's a tying goal or just kind of putting us ahead? How important is he to the rivalry?
He's very, because he's one of these guys who wears his emotions on his sleeves, and he would bleed for this club gladly. We were actually thinking about making that change earlier, bringing on Anthony, bringing on a natural left footer on that side, and have Keegan as a right footer on the other side. And the hesitation was, are we sure we want to take Lawless out for set pieces and that sort of thing? And Anthony was actually up and ready to go when Lawless scored. And so then we left it for a while. But that's Lawless's value, is that he will fight to the death for the club. He'll give you everything he has every minute. And he is a legitimate threat on every single set piece. And how important is it? Really, really important.
Hey, Robin, the fans were really into the game today. And, even when 3 down 1, the score, they kept pushing. How much does that affect you guys?
It's awesome. It's awesome. I think our fans were fantastic tonight. I've been in places and I've played places where if you go in down 3-1, you're getting booed off the field. When I used to play for the Galaxy, I feel like that happened regularly, where we'd get booed off the field in the first half, come back in the second half, and win the game. But I was really, really pleased with how positive the crowd was. They really lifted us. And we talk about the urgency of the second half. It's a two-way street. If we roll over and we don't play with urgency, then we don't give the fans anything to get excited about. But because we were positive and because we were threatening and dangerous and looking to get behind, it got the crowd excited, and their energy level directly translates to the field. And I felt like it really kept us going, even in the dying moments when we get caught down numbers a couple of times and have to deal with transition. I'm convinced part of the reason that guys get back and were able to deal with some of that is because the crowd was so energetic that it gave us energy to deal with those moments. I can't say enough. I wish I could issue a personal thank you to the crowd, because I feel like what they did for us tonight was fantastic, and what they've been doing for us, and we so appreciate how they back us, and we know that we owe them something.
Yeah, Coach. Obviously, not too often you get to play a team twice in the span of a few days. How can that play to your advantage, and maybe on the other side to your disadvantage?
Well, it's funny you say that, because when the draw came out, my first thought was it's really hard to beat a team twice in 4 days. And walking off the field tonight, I thought, well, now that's their problem. So hopefully the feeling, the sour taste in our players' mouths will have an effect in how they approach a game Wednesday. And I still do think it is hard to beat a team twice in 4 days. But, credit to them. They are, and I talked about this before the game, they are a hardworking, very determined, physical team that take on the personality of Pablo, which is never quit, never say die, work till the very end. So I know that Wednesday will be another game that I don't know if it'll look exactly like this, but I can guarantee you, regardless of the score, there'll be some exhausted people after that one. Good.
Coach, I guess with the week ahead, really, for the stadium itself, Shasta is coming here Tuesday, Thursday. I guess, how are the pitch conditions, and do you think all the use could play a role maybe Wednesday and Saturday as well?
I don't think so. I don't think it will affect it. I think the field's in pretty good shape, and I haven't looked at how many games are going to be on the field. But the field has really come around, and obviously we've had a long winter, and it's taken a while to get into really good condition. But tonight was so much better than last week, which was so much better than the weeks before. And I think it's just all the rain, I'm sure it doesn't hurt. And if it stops raining now, I think we will be good throughout the week. If it rained all throughout the week, then it may make a difference. But I think it's going to hold up just fine.